I'm Jason. I am a commodities business manager. I'm originally from the US, most recently in New York, and I've been out here for about 2.5 years. I was brought out by my bank. I work for an international bank to help build out our commodities franchise here in Asia. I remember one of the conversations right before I came out here. I talked to my hiring manager, and there's a laundry list of things that we were going through. What are the work hours like, professional decorum, vacation days, blah, blah, blah. And at the very bottom of that, I put in there, and by the way, you should know, identify as gay. And if you have an issue with that, let me know before I move my whole life from New York to Singapore. So I basically came out from day one here, or day -1. I remember in my first job, and even in my second job in banking, I was not out of the closet, and you would worry. I worried about so many different things. It's, there are mixed pronouns of who and what I was hanging out with this past weekend, making sure that people didn't suspect or think that I was gay, talking about, fake girlfriends, basically creating this whole persona of who I really wasn't, just to put on this facade because I was concerned with career mobility, people's perceptions. It's funny because you don't really quite think there's just so many things that happen in your normal day-to-day language, or that the world is just almost by default heterosexual. People's wedding rings, hanging out with your spouses this past weekend, going with a family to Sentosa, going on a trip somewhere, hanging out, I'm having a boys' weekend this weekend, and all of the assumptions that end up going with that. Even right down to like benefits at work, relocating people and having spousal allowances, should you move internationally, like the corporate workplace, at least as I've seen it, is really geared towards heterosexual people. And it, to me, when I was closeted, I just assumed that, I first hadn't really dealt with any of these issues. I'm a single gay man. I had my own personal issues to deal with. And in the corporate world, I just wasn't going to come out. I would switch jobs quick enough, once every year and a half, because I wasn't going to make the social connections at work so that people didn't have to know who I was hanging out with, who I was dating at the time, where I was going on the weekends, because it was all professional, right? And you can just contain your professional self separate from the other pieces of your life. I was so wrong, and you don't quite realize how much you're hiding from other people, and how much of that persona you're having to create, this fictional you that you really aren't, when you're closeted. And also, by the fact that you are closeted, it's almost as if you don't deserve to be there, or you don't deserve a place at the corporate table or at the round table, because you're hiding who you really are. I've spoken with other friends of mine, and they end up telling me, Jason, the workplace is just not the place to come out. But, now I don't understand why you shouldn't. I'm not asking for special rights, or I don't think that we should be looking for special rights for those of us who identify as lesbian, gay, bisexual, or transgender. What I'm quite looking for is just to bring the gays up to where everybody else is at. Should I ever have my gaybies and my spouse, I want to make sure that they're covered with the exact same benefits that I have at work. And a lot of that starts with just me being able to come out and say that I'm gay, and so that we can start to address some of these issues. Part of being at work as a commodities business manager, I am on a trading floor. If you think about it, it's stereotypically lots of machismo, kind of steaky, meatheady guys, sales and trading, that sort of environment. People screaming buy, sell, high, low. There's always a buzz that's going on the trading room floor. And I am very much prominently out there. You have the soapbox that you have in life. So I feel that as a gay male, I can hopefully, not necessarily inspire others to come out, but, if I show that I'm gay and I'm successful and I'm doing well in this environment, maybe you should start thinking about your own journey in coming out. That doesn't always mean that it's going to be that much, that you won't have hard times to deal with and things won't be difficult and there aren't going to be difficult situations or conversations, because I've definitely had my share of those. But it's definitely a lot better when you're not having to worry about projecting an image of someone fictionally who is not you, because there's already so many other things to worry about in the workplace. So I'm Jason Ortiz. I came out to the colleagues in my workplace. Who will you come out to?